Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, Tigers!
It's Friday, February 28th.
And it's B-Day.
The latest development in the media, the web, is the focus of today's celebration of Scholastic Journalism Week.
The internet first came online in 1965, although email wasn't invented until 1971. And the World Wide Web's graphical user interface didn't come online until 1991.
Oh my gosh. Today, schools throughout the world use the web for everything from communicating homework with students and parents to researching nuclear physics.
School newspapers like ours, the Paw Print, have moved online to take advantage of the web's ability to serve up not just printed text, but sound and video too.
Plus, publishing is a whole lot faster and a lot greener.
We've got some congrats to give.
Best of luck to the band students who will be participating in the Dorian Band Festival this weekend at Luther College.
They will be rehearsing Sunday afternoon and Monday prior to putting on a concert Monday evening.
This year's participants from BRFHS are Jordan Briggs, Zoe Dalcero, Cordell Funmaker, Avery Jerseth, Quinn Hansen, Lily Howe, Danny Johnson, Annalicia Lopez, Matthew Jacobs, Nathan Marichek, Kaylana Privino, Vivina Roberts, Kaylee Suino, and Kiara Wallace.
National FFA Week is drawing to a close.
Did you see today's trivia question? If you're a winner, stop by Mr. Markhart's room for a prize.
Today, FFA members are going to the animal shelter after school to organize a social media blitz for some cats to try and get them adopted.
That's awesome. Meet in the egg room for after school and then walk to the shelter. Take your phones. They'll be done and back to the school around 4:15.
Also, thank you to those bringing in shoes for our shelter shoe drive. Next week, they will let you know how many shoes were collected in total.
Finally, today is the final opportunity for our penny war. Jars will be collected from the advising rooms at the beginning of the 6th block today.
Thank you for helping us celebrate National FFA Week.
It's wilder than a rodeo and funnier than a circus. It's donkey basketball.
The Black River Falls FFA alumni and supporters group will be sponsoring a doubleheader donkey basketball game on Monday, March 2nd. Tip-off is 7 p.m. in the Black River Falls High School Sam Young Gym.
Admission is $10 at the door or $7 in advance. Advance tickets can be purchased from Schulze's Ace, Moe's Hardware Hank, and the Corner Store, or Mr. Anderson or Mr. Markhart.
Coupons are also available for free donkey rides for kids aged 12 or younger.
For GM97, I'm Ellie Wirtz.
And I'm Whitney Hench.
Have a great day, Tigers.
Bye.
Good morning, Tigers. I'm Hunter.
And I'm Sierra.
And this is the finale of Students Take Over Black History Month.
Today we have 5 reasons why we personally think white people can't or shouldn't say the N-word. It's important for us to address first that we can't stop people from saying it. All we can do is give opinions and the reason why we have those.
Reason 1. Context. Words don't have meaning without context. There are certain words that are acceptable to use in certain times and places with certain people and friends. While it may be okay for 2 people that are amazing friends to call each other the B word, it's not okay for someone to call another person that because they'll get mad or upset. It's the same thing with the N-word. It might be okay for a Black or African American to say it to each other.
It is not okay for a white person to say it. African Americans or Black people have been scrutinized with the N-word for hundreds of years, so by them taking that word back, it is showing no race will have control over them.
If you're not Black, it's not okay to say it.
Reason number 2. History. Look, I get it. Censoring yourself is annoying. You should be at liberty to use the English language to its full extent, right? Well, not entirely. White people used to be able to say the N-word, but not anymore. But now there's a pretty good reason why they shouldn't say it anymore. For 600 years, white Europeans bought and sold slaves like Pokemon cards. But making a slave, especially an obedient slave, wasn't as simple as capturing a free person and shipping them over to America. You had to strip them of their humanity. This is done using unimaginable violence, torture, rape, murder, and public humiliation. Perhaps one of the most significant and most important and impactful were the psychological ones. Making a slave was down to a science. They took away names and language, they took away their culture, they took away their history, and they took away their humanity. So in order to justify and ensure that this violent system of oppression could continue to be successful and flourish, they had to maintain these people and make them and the slaves believe that they weren't people at all. And you know how they did that? They used the N-word. So alongside every beating, every lash, every rape, every lynching, and every public humiliation was the N-word. So when you say the N-word today, you're echoing all the people who said that to dehumanize a black person.
Reason number 3, privilege. Privilege comes from knowing your voice will always be heard in every situation. Many people believe white privilege is not a thing. It comes from knowing your history and knowing where your ancestors are from and what they stood for. Many African Americans only know that ancestors were slaves and not the true roots of them. Privilege comes from getting that job or being picked in a group first. Privilege comes from having a positive relationship with the police and not being in constant fear of what they could possibly do to you or your family. And lastly, privilege comes from being able to walk into a store and not be stared at like you're gonna rob the place.
Reason number 4, culture. Let's be clear, hip-hop was created in a time when people needed a platform to talk strongly about racism, poverty, and oppression. It was a space for black people to have a voice in a society that didn't want them heard. It allowed them to talk to people everywhere. In many hip-hop songs, the N-word was used in a way to regain the torture the word brought upon people. Black people are trying to recreate their own culture that was stolen away from them. So by saying the N-word, it has become a lot of that culture. With that being said, a lot of songs have the N-word in them, and that still doesn't mean you should say it or sing it. Censoring yourself from that 1 second won't ruin the song or your time listening to that song. Even if you're not saying it to or at someone, it means the same regardless.
Reason number 5, there are many, many other words you can use besides the N-word, like bro or literally anything else you can think of. It's not only rude, but it's also very disrespectful to use the word.
As someone who has experienced racism firsthand, and my own grandmother was born into slavery in the 1930s, and yes, there was slavery in America up until the 1960s, slavery didn't just end when the law became law. She didn't even have a name until the illegal slave farm was closed in the 1940s. The N-word for her brings so much pain. So no, saying it isn't cool, and it truly brings so much hurt into the world still to this day.
Today we have filled your head with many things you may have known and things you probably didn't.
Hopefully now you know a little more about the N-word, and maybe you'll think before you say it in a song or towards one of your friends. Thank you for listening to all our videos on Black History Month. Have an amazing Friday, Tigers.
Bye.